Welcome back to another video. If you guys have been following along, you know that I recently went on a 32-mile cross-country flight with my Dudek Warp 1. Well, I recently picked up a Dudek Warp 2, and I wanted to take it on a similar cross-country flight to see how it handled and the differences between the two. By no means is this video a comparison between the Warp 1 and the Warp 2. That will be saved for a later video. This video is strictly about this cross-country flight, what I experienced, saw, felt, thought, and all of those things. Let me explain the route. We started up here at LZ2, the same place that I started in the previous video, and instead of just flying to West Mountain like I did the first time, I wanted to travel all the way down south over here near Eureka to checkpoint number 1, and then I wanted to follow the valley south all the way up to checkpoint number 2, which is West Mountain, and then back up to the starting point. This was around 65 miles. I ended up traveling 66 miles. It took me about an hour and a half, and I'll tell you all of those details at the end of the video. Anyways, let's get right into the video.
Yeah, buddy! Woo! Oh, yeah. Let's see how she does. Whee! Oh, dude. So freaking fun. So freaking fun, guys. Oh, man. It doesn't even need to be anything fancy, and man, I can have a good time doing it.
Hey guys, so after I got up and all situated and kind of started on my pathway towards checkpoint number 1, I found myself in this big old valley with a beautiful blanket of snow. And if you've never flown over somewhere where there's just like a blanket of snow, then you're seriously missing out, because it's one of like the coolest, most unique feelings ever. And just flying over places that are just completely covered in snow, it's just super fun. I found myself diving back and forth and playing around in these this snowy valley before I found myself going into these bigger foothills, which led to checkpoint number 1. Anyways, back to the video.
Yes, sir. This is fun. I'm enjoying this, guys. These are little, you could say, valleys that I've never ventured to, despite my LZ being right over there. God, this just looks so good for foot drags. Is that a foot drag? It's just some random paramotor pilot foot drag out here. Oh, yes. With this cloud cover going on over here, I'm going to stay a little bit more on the foothills. Face is definitely getting cold on this flight. Those clouds do not necessarily look that friendly, I'm going to be honest with you. If it starts to get bumpy, I'm going to turn and go that way. This is so fun. There's just something about going exploring. Not that this is like anything extreme by any measure, but even this little exploration is just fun. I think we're gonna peak this little hill here. It's not the one that I was going for. The one I'm going for is a little bit higher and even more hidden in the mountains. Those clouds look cool, and I'm so happy to have some sunshine on me. We have not had hardly any sun in the last like 2 weeks. And I'm a firm believer that sunshine is good for the body. I ain't been getting my sunshine.
Hey guys, so I wanted to share a little bit about my thought process as I started to head towards this mountain. Right off the bat, I noticed that I was starting to take on a lot more risk. And the reason that I'm saying that is because you start to see there isn't really any paths or roads near where I'm going. So as you start to venture further and further out, if you have a motor out and you can't glide to a road, it basically means you're going to be walking. I also want to talk about my approach towards this hill. As I'm approaching this hill, if I'm not getting hit with any rotor, right, I'm not starting to get rocked around, it means I'm probably, not guaranteed, probably on the leeward side. So I wasn't really worried about rotor. The other thing to take into consideration is those big clouds. Now, if it was the summertime, if it was like July and I was doing this flight, absolutely would not have been flying near these cloud conditions. If this was rain, I would not have been flying near these conditions. The only reason that I did end up flying near these clouds is because it was snow. And snow is often a lot less active, at least from my experience, and I could totally be wrong, but from my experience here in Utah, every time I fly near snow, it's a whole lot less active, and I can actually fly through a snowstorm safely. Obviously, I'm taking my time. I'm itching my way closer. I'm not just like going straight into the heart of the cloud. And if I start getting closer and it's bumpy, then I was going to turn away. But as you see, I start making myself closer and closer and closer.
This is sick. Either those are footprints or those got to be deer coming up here. There's no way somebody's hiking up this right now, because it's pretty chilly up here. This is cool. It would really suck to have to land up here. Let's not put that energy out there. Whoa, is that a house? No way. Whoa, guys, check this out. There's a shed with a camper inside of it, out here in the middle of nowhere. That's super slick. That's the setup, dude. Talk about a little getaway from the rest of society. This is up and out here. Makes me a little nervous of potential power lines, so I'm just gonna kind of scan for those. And I see a quote-unquote main road, so we're gonna kind of fly over to this main road and follow that for a little while and see where that takes us. There had to have been like a fire that came through here and burned up some of these trees. Kind of sad to see. Whew, my face is definitely chilly up in these clouds. Can you imagine you like bring your camper to the most remote place you can think of, and then all of a sudden some butt fan comes flying through? Oh, there's another camper right there. Wow, that's a big rig. There's two. There's a lot of them up here. There's another and another. Am I stumbling upon like a potential polygamist community? It's tucked away in the woods. Like, look at this thing. It's like a little one-bedroom Airbnb thing that's getting built. I bet you're gonna see that on Airbnb soon. What is up here, dude? Look at what we're venturing on into up in here. I'm starting to venture a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper in here. There's cars down there, that's funny. This is funny to me because I drove through this small town back when Chucky and I went to the sand dunes, and I just thought about how it just felt like very out there. You know what I mean? I wonder what it's like just to be driving and all of a sudden see some butt fan glider thing flying through the sky. Just wonder what the heck is going on up there. I bet the car down there is wondering what kind of idiot is up here flying in these freezing temperatures. You know, all my Florida friends are making fun of me about how they're in shorts and a t-shirt. Starting to hit a little bit gnarlier turbulence here. Just a little bite to it. And the warp's eating it up, no problem. Warp 2 doesn't really seem to care too much about turbulence, which is cool. Look at those clouds just covering. It's like a blanket. I'm just cresting over that blanket. I have a feeling I'm about to get myself into some rotor. Nah, the wind is blowing this way. If you ever want to know your wind direction, there's a few ways you can do it. Number 1 is fly in a circle. Number 2 is face a certain direction and see which direction you actually fly. So right now I'm flying this way, and I'm facing this way. So if you're crabbing, it kind of tells you if you're, what the wind direction is, if you're crosswind or into the wind or whatever. If there's enough wind, you can kind of pick a point and try and fly straight towards it and see which way you're facing or which way you're going. It's very effective when there's actually wind. The clouds playing like a blanket on top of those mountains. That's so cool. I'm just taking it in. I'm taking a picture of that. I gotta get a picture of that.
Hey guys, so after whipping out my phone and taking some funny pictures, I ended up just kind of cruising and slowly making my way all the way around to what we could call checkpoint 2, which is West Mountain. I can't say that a whole lot happened in that process, as it was me just kind of cruising, trims down. I did later trim up to see what the difference in speed would be and to see how the wing would handle. And there were some beautiful views and some cool stuff to look at, but nothing notable worthy of me really slowing down the video and talking about. So we make it all the way over to West Mountain, where this video will resume.
Okay guys, so fast forward a little while. I've been cruising at like 50 miles an hour because I had quite a bit of a tailwind. I don't think I'm gonna go too deep into this mountain. I'm just gonna kind of crest up, see how it feels, maybe carve down a little canyon and then shoot my way back towards the LZ. To give you guys a little perspective, right now it is 3:07. I've done 49.5 miles, 1 hour and 8 minutes of flight time. I'm currently doing 36 miles an hour. So I trimmed down on the approach of the mountain because if I started to kind of creep into rotor or bumps, I wanted to be able to active pilot. I wanted to have my brakes in my hand. And so I just kind of cautiously am going to inch my way closer and closer. If you're ever not sure on wind direction, don't just throw yourself potentially behind an object. Take your time, be patient with it. Well guys, it appears that I'm kind of getting a little bit of lift. So I'm going to see if I can milk that for as much as I can. This is cool, man. Catching a little bit of lift. It's time to hurry back, guys. I'm definitely going to get cold here soon. I want to try and hurry back before I get like super cold. It's 3:15, so I've been gone for an hour and 15 minutes. I mean, that's not that long of a flight.
After a quick little flight up West Mountain, I decided to turn back towards the LZ, and this is when the cold started to set in. Mind you, I had been flying for about an hour and 10 minutes at this point, and that's quite a while in the sub 30 degree temperatures, but I'll tell you the secrets to keeping warm. First and foremost is going to be heated gloves. Heated gloves are a absolute must in anything below 36 degrees. Above 36 degrees, you can get away without heated gloves for a short time, but it's still not optimal. The next thing is a heated vest, and I know, who needs a heated vest? I personally never thought I needed a heated vest until I bought one, and then I realized that I couldn't really live without the heated vest, especially in these cold temperatures. You might not feel the heat, but even having that little heat there makes a huge difference. And the third thing is being completely windproof. This is where the mistake, you could say, lied for me on this flight. Between my snow pants and my boots, they kind of separated, and there became a small inch or so gap where my sock was. That started to get wind blowing up my pant and down my boot. And that slowly, over the period of about a half hour, made my legs really, really, really cold. So cold, in fact, that I was worried that my legs weren't going to work when I came into land, which is kind of funny. But they did, thankfully. And so those are the few tips that I can give you on keeping yourself warm. As soon as I turned back to the LZ, I just kind of cruised around the shoreline, trimmed out. We're hitting like 50 miles an hour with a bit of a tailwind, and came in to set it down for a beautiful landing.
My stuff is still there. That's a good sign. Holy cow, we have been gone a long time. I am very excited to put my feet on the ground, and I'm hopeful that they work. Oh my gosh, my legs almost didn't work.